Hello everybody. We want to take just a few minutes to go over what we have experienced over this past year since the onset of COVID-19 and where we're headed to try and address it and finally put this behind us. Since COVID first really showed up on our society about this time last year, we have seen some monumental changes happen. A vaccine has been developed, regulations have been put in place to help stop the spread, businesses were shut down, but now they're starting to reopen. So as we now observe the 1-year anniversary, if you will, of COVID coming into our lives, let's look at some of the things that we've done as a company and as an industry. Apex was ahead of the curve, making sure that we were observing best safety practices, making sure we had the tools and resources on our job sites and safety protocols put in place to protect you and your families. Additionally, we did close down the apprenticeship school, again, to facilitate distancing, but we also utilize new technologies such as online training and video seminars, but we'll be able to carry forward for future training, not only for apprentices, but throughout our organizations as we roll out innovative programs such as statistical predictive analysis and other things that have evolved to allow us to maintain our competitive edge. We've continued to market and put ourselves in front of new companies and created a substantial backlog of projects rolling into the new year, which we hope to continue to build on. This is a result of all our collective efforts to get through the COVID-19 crisis. And now what we want to do is tell you what we look to do moving forward. One of the main weapons in the war against COVID has been the rollout of a series of successful vaccines. We have already started to see these being distributed to our most vulnerable population, as well as medical professionals, first responders, those who work in our school districts, and now they're starting to roll out into the general population. Now, each state where most of our employees live, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, are having different processes to roll out the vaccines and who's eligible and when. We encourage you to visit the following web pages. For Kentucky, when you click on this web address, there's actually a section where you'll see where you click on Get Started and a small questionnaire that you can fill out, and then that will tell you when you can make your reservation or the appropriate time to receive notification where you're eligible to receive the vaccine during Phase 1C. In Indiana and Ohio, they provide a list of priorities where the vaccines are being distributed, and we encourage you to check those regularly to see when you will become eligible and make the appropriate arrangements to get your vaccines. We as an organization do support the vaccinations and will pay you for 4 hours of work for when you go to get your vaccines. Some of the vaccines do require 2 shots, so you will be compensated for both of those. All of this information is in the documentation you will be receiving shortly, so we do encourage you to review that closely and participate in the vaccination program as soon as you are eligible. One of the big challenges during the COVID crisis this past year is our continued commitment to provide excellent training for our apprentices. We want to thank each of our apprentices that have persevered and maintained their testing schedule, stayed up on their studies, and also thank you to Jim Wilson and Justin Kennedy for putting together the online tutorials to allow you to keep a pace. We are excited to announce, though, that mandatory classes will start on March 1st. This will give an opportunity to get the apprentices back together in a classroom setting to further advance and continue with their training and testing schedule. As we conclude this video, all we really can say is thank you, and even that's not a strong enough word. We want to extend our special thank you to the emergency response team, to everyone in the field, from the site supervisors, the foremen, the guys working in the pit, the people in the office and the support staff, everybody working collectively to observe the safety protocols, keeping our work environment as safe as possible and keeping us all working to the best of our ability through this trying time. Without these collective efforts, Apex simply would not have been able to weather COVID as well as it has. Yes, we had challenges, but yes, we also overcame them. But a special thank you needs to go out to Mike Dudley, our safety director, whose tireless efforts to keep job sites supplied with what they needed, to keep an eye on things for us, to keep us updated on the best practices. Thank you very much, Mike, for all your extra effort, and we look forward to moving forward in 2021. Thank you, everybody.